This is a rod and screws that came out of the patient's spine. I'm going to tell you the story, why I have these, and where they're going next. These are x-rays from a patient who was involved in a motorcycle accident who presented with severe back pain radiating into both of his legs. When he tried to stand up, he had an immediate lightning-like sensation down the front of his legs with extreme pain. He was really unable to walk. On examination, he was hyperreflexive, meaning when I tapped on his patellar tendons, he had an exaggerated response. An MRI shows fractures of T11 and T12. T12 actually has a burst fracture. The entire vertebra has exploded. The back part of that vertebra has exploded backwards into the spinal canal and is pressing on the very bottom of his spinal cord. I put these exact screws and rods into the patient's back above and below the fracture, stretched it out, indirectly bringing that exploded vertebra back into place and stabilizing him so he was more comfortable when he stood up. Historically, what we would do is destroy the spinal joints within this fusion mass, causing them to grow together over time, leaving him with a stiff segment in the middle of his back. It's stable and he's improved from his neurological symptoms, but he's stuck with this big fused segment. He's always going to know that he's stiff and fused, and he's going to have a degeneration at the levels above and below. Fusions are great, but I didn't want to do that. I just put these into his back. I took him out a year later. I got x-rays. He looks great. He's still fantastic. He still doesn't have those neurological symptoms. And more importantly, he doesn't have these screws and rods. So the best part about this, I get to give this back to the patient. He's going to put it in his deck. He's going to keep it in a shoebox, do whatever he wants with it. There's good research that shows you don't have to do this. Here's a paper from when I was a fellow showing that you can just instrument these segments of around the fractured vertebra, take them out a year later, and the patients do just as well, if not better, because they don't have a fused segment and screws and rods in their back permanently. I am always learning new techniques. This is not something I did in residency or fellowship, but it is something that I can provide for my patients.